We'll call this meeting, the regular council meeting, to order. Please note we have all council members here, including our city attorney, chief of police, public works, engineer, auditor, and our P&Z administrator. For the record, the meetings are recorded. If you wish to address the council, please come up to the podium, make sure the green light's on. And also council members, make sure that your mics are on. First item on the agenda would be the minutes of the last regular meeting and a special meeting we had October 21. Are there any corrections or additions?
Mr. Mayor, with seeing or hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve both minutes for the city council and the special council.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Chad. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Motion carried. Next would be the planning and zoning recommendations. Mr. Highrider is here.
Mr. Mayor, council members, we had our regular meeting last evening. At 5:30, we were supposed to have a public hearing for a mobile food permit. The individual didn't get all their paperwork done, and they provided us with what we were asking for, a map of where it was going to go on the property and other information, but they did not do their certified mail cards, and they weren't ready to come to the meeting. So because it does require a public hearing, we reset the public hearing for our next month's meeting with hoping they will get their stuff together. And Lynn was in contact with them and said to come, if they need help, she would be more than willing to help them and answer questions if they didn't have it. So we just set a new public hearing for next meeting.
Okay.
Then we went into our commission concerns. We were given a copy of a email and some information between Kendra and Lynn on a animal shelter. And we had some discussion, but because there was no information at the time, I see though this is going to be on your agenda later. Do you want to discuss it now, or do you want to wait till?
Well, I guess it depends on if you want to stick around, Todd.
I sure can unless you want
We can do it now too.
to. Okay.
Let's go to the bottom and then we'll come back.
Okay, we'll come back up. All right. So we discussed that. Also, Skip Wing inquired about at the end of Main Street, what it would take to get a right turn lane. And after he was told by Curtis that it would take the North Dakota Highway Department and a lot of other, it was pretty much a dropped item at that point. Then he brought up paving the road from the REC out by the airport, what it would take to get that road paved and who would be involved, between the township, the city. And then Dale Keelan stated that Greg Johnson's been asking the FAA for some guidance and maybe some money, some information on getting that road paved, if the FAA was interested in supplying some funds. So they discussed about the ambulance goes out there quite often along, with the helicopter coming to the hospital, but an airplane also comes to the airport. So they were just feeling it would be nice to get So a little discussion on that, and you guys can put that in your thought bank for a later time. And then we did a little discussion on the frontage road out in front of Dairy Queen, Pinnacle, Verizon. Where did the rocks go? There was rocks there to stop the parking in the mud. And now some of the rocks are gone, but posts have been placed, and we just feel that that's a very necessary thing to keep the trucks from pulling into the dirt to park. If they're allowed to park on the street, but stay out of the. And we did tell Curtis they're doing a great job to keep up with that and to keep the trucks out of the mud and not bring it onto the streets. And then a little discussion about curb and gutter being installed out there to stop that also. And then after that, we went into our zoning ordinance review, and Amanda had written a draft of a parking section that will be what we've tentatively had suggested was that instead of parking information in every section of the book, we would have a parking section that would cover every section of the book. And she brought a draft of that, and we did a few changes, some corrections, and we didn't make a motion, but we consensus that we liked what she did, and we would move forward with bringing that into the book. And in 2 weeks, we'll meet again, and Amanda will be bringing forth lot coverages and landscaping. And there again, instead of having something in every single section, we're going to have a section for lot coverages that'll cover all districts, and the same thing with landscaping. And then we got a couple others that we're going to rewrite, redo, and we'll be getting close to the end.
So going back to the frontage road one about the truck parking, is it legal for them to overnight park there, Chris?
Well, there used to be one and a half hours, was it? Signs
1
there?
hour parking.
1 hour parking, but they've been removed, so I'm assuming they think they can park there.
Because the other night we pulled in there at 6 a.m. to fuel up fire trucks, and there was 3 of them. And they looked like they'd been there all night. So do we ticket them, or?
I suppose we should have a sign there, and I'll go find where they're staying, and if that's at the apartment buildings or if they're staying at Blackwood.
I mean, the rocks are kind of a pain for public works and snow removal, but maybe it's some,
Like we did before, where you don't see any more.
I think if you get the signs up and then start pushing it a little bit, okay?
So I guess I got a question, if we have truck ordinance in town, like we do, why are they even allowed there, other than at fire sale, where it's approved?
Well, they're allowed on the frontage road, but not overnight parking.
There was signs there, and the other company that used to park loaded propane transports there, they used to back over the signs and knock them down. I took pictures of that. And then pretty soon there's no signs, so they're all parking on the wrong side of the street.
I guess I put no parking signs.
Yeah, I think, and if that don't work, we'll go back to the rocks, Kurt.
And I thought we had the rocks removed for the snow removal because they're kind of a pain, but
Yep.
I guess if that's what has to be, because I've been by there too. It's terrible.
We brought that up before, you guys.
Parking on the street.
Okay.
Well, we can put a few signs up and have, some flag, air flags there, hang on there, so that
Yep.
hopefully give them the empty sites talking to them.
Like 1 hour parking or something. If they want to go in and eat at the Chinese restaurant or something, but
Still can't read signs.
Okay.
Missed the truck road.
You'll get some signs up. Okay,
I disagree with any allotted time of parking. They're not allowed to do it anywhere else in town. Why are they allowed to park there just for the couple businesses?
yeah, the South Frontage
Wouldn't be
Road,
fair
I
about it,
can't.
gotta be fair across the board. Don't give fit sections of town that are impacted just the same as any other part of town and allow them in there.
Well, if it's the consensus of the council, put up no parking signs all the way along there. And we'll see how that goes. Then if they violate that, you got something to go on. Everybody's okay with that?
I would agree with that.
They can't park on the South Frontage Road, either side. I mean, once in a while, they do away there, the sheriff or something, but otherwise they don't.
Your business is down there, don't get, your delivery truck gets to come in there, and that's essentially it, so.
Okay. Well, you want to go back to the animal shelter?
Yes, and it's up to you guys if you want to discuss it now. or
No,
if you wanna
that'll
discuss
be
it
the
later.
next on the agenda, down about 6 there.
Okay, well, we discussed it and because it's so vague and we knew absolutely nothing that's happening, we did direct Amanda to do some investigating this morning so she could bring it to tonight's meeting. I guess I'd like to have her speak.
Good evening, everyone. So I did speak with Jackie, who is part of that animal rescue. She said for right now, they're using it as a business office. There will be no housing of animals on the property. The only time that the animals would be there is if they have potential adopters, they would do some type of like a little meet and greet, very short and simple. Or if they had rescue animals coming in, one set of the people could drop them there, the other people would go pick them up and take them off the property. They did say also they were waiting on grants because they do want to set something up in the future to house cats there. And they would also like to be open 1 to 2 days a week eventually, and they would want to bring in kittens with a volunteer, and then you can buy a cuddle pass and spend time with the kittens. So that's what I was told this evening. I told the lady that I needed to do some research and check, obviously, to see if that was allowed within the district, and that I would get back to her by the end of the week.
So question for Kendra, as of right now, we don't have anything that says they can't do it?
I can't really give you an answer as to a yes or a no. My interpretation of it would be it doesn't really show an animal shelter. We don't have anything in our ordinances, either our zoning code or regular ordinances, that address an animal shelter or like an animal foster area. We do have zoning ordinances in place that do prohibit or only allow conditional use for an animal hospital or a kennel as well as a pet shop. But those are in limited areas of Stanley. I do not think that the definition of their animal rescue would fall within what we have as a pet shop defined under our ordinance or our zoning code. Both of the animal hospital or kennel, those are both conditional uses right now under our planning and zoning code. I've attached in the memo as well quite a few different ordinances from different cities, and I think this shows us that, or I would ask that at least the council as well as the planning and zoning committee would take into account or just have a conversation regarding this, because we do need to define this better under our ordinances. A lot of other cities do, but we do not have good definitions as to those type of businesses or nonprofit, I guess, in their case, or people who are maybe fostering animals in their home. A lot of other cities require a permit for that, as well as the involvement of the health department. to review that. I guess I can answer further questions on it, but I would recommend that we look towards adopting an ordinance and something as well in our planning and zoning code that addresses this area.
In our review of the book, we did go into veterinary kennels, and this shelter was not mentioned. That was one thing that just kind of went by us, but that is going to get added in. And right now, we've got that all set up in the industrial section of the city. Nothing in the downtown business district. And then with a mixed-use building like that, our discussion was we're gonna try and do everything we can not to allow it in that location. The office part, that's fine, but the animals, you having any animals in the building, we're opposed to animals in the building in any shape or form. So I guess since they have not brought forth any paperwork, but they're talking about this, I guess if Kendra and Amanda can figure it out what to tell the lady or how to proceed, if the planning and zoning needs to do a formal action of any sort, with the instruction and guidance of the attorney, and we'll gladly do what we need to do to work through today's, but in the new book, it will definitely be out in an industrial section.
So for this particular one, can we require them to do a conditional use?
It's not really mentioned under our zoning ordinances. I would say if it's not listed as a permissible use, it's not something that's allowed. They would have to ask for a conditional use permit. But
Right,
obviously, you're gonna need to take into account some health concerns, public health concerns as to that, which most other municipalities do reference a public health concern and the number of animals in there.
I believe
Ordinances.
Amanda was doing some research on where the health department comes into play with the health permit.
I did not.
You haven't yet? Okay,
People still live up
Mhm.
stairs too.
yes,
so the good thing about a conditional use is you'd have to have a public hearing
correct.
so that the surrounding people could voice their opinion, would be one big thing. And the other thing, our ordinance says 4 cats and 4 dogs
Yes.
total, without something
Exception.
separate.
Yep. We're still gonna need to think about and discuss maybe moving forward if that's an ordinance that we'd like drafted, because we don't really have definitions defining those things necessarily either in our ordinances right now.
But it'd be nice if you could see if she would apply for a conditional use if she is gonna house animals over here,
Okay,
just so the neighbors get a chance to.
I can do that. And if they're not ready to do that because they are still waiting on grants, is everything okay as far as the business office? I mean, it's
Right, if
a
there's no
business. I don't
animals,
think there's
it's-
anything against it, but just no animals on premises staying.
Yep.
Other than like, I'm assuming like a meet and greet, 30 minutes between a potential adopter or something would be okay.
Let's chat
Or-
about that. I'll review the,
Okay,
our zoning ordinance a little bit more, Amanda.
okay.
Okay,
Well, we're not against the shelter. We just want to get it in the right location and under the right circumstances.
I think a public hearing would be good.
I guess I'd have some concern with the meet and greet, just because if they let animals in there, how do we know if, every time there's an animal in there while they're waiting for a meet and greet, there'd be no way to regulate that.
I think it still goes to the purpose of the business and what type of business you're having there, because it's still revolving around it being an animal shelter.
Mhm. And there's no lawn, I mean, where do the dogs go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there needs to be a hearing.
But yeah, if whatever comes with the attorney and Amanda, if they bring it to us and we must take an action of some sort, we're
Okay.
willing to take care of that. So
Okay,
other than that, I have nothing else for
Okay.
tonight. So
any questions for Todd? Thank you.
thank you.
I think there's one question that hasn't been answered yet, which she asked about the conditional use. If it was gonna allow them in there.
They would still have to apply for that and we'd have to have a hearing on it. I don't really think that, I mean, it's still the purpose of their business, but I would like to be able to review the code first before we come to a consensus.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Next would be Amanda's report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. So there was still some permits that were coming in with our nice fall weather, a couple fences. Stanley High School is doing an additional storage garage right there next to the tennis courts to the south. And one of our employees is doing an addition on his house. And then we had one demo permit for that little garage that used to be kind of across the street in the alley. Right there on the corner. So if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer.
I guess, did we waive the permit for the school? They don't say it on there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I apologize. I can put it on there.
Okay.
I didn't realize it wasn't on there either. That was my fault.
Any questions on the permits, building or demolition? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
By Mr. Hellman, is there a second? Second by Ty. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carried.
Okay. The only other item that I have is we have been working on our dangerous buildings. The one that I would like to speak to you about tonight is Stanley Greenstone Stanley and Greenstone Stanley Archibald. It's the 4 lots that are up on the north side of town. In accordance with our ordinance, we have sent letters, done inspection, etc. They have not complied. Our letter went out September 21st. The deadline was October 23rd. We show non-compliance with the letter and what they've done with the property or haven't done with the property. So at tonight's meeting, I would ask for the city council to set a hearing to bring them in front of yourselves to be able to discuss that matter.
Okay,
So basically, I can explain, I guess, what point we're at, because this is something a little new to us. Amanda is required under Chapter 10, Section 2, or Article 2, excuse me, of our ordinances to bring forth the report that she's given you all in your packet tonight, which states that the inspection has been completed, like she said, that the letter went out to them on September 21st, outlining what they would have to do to reach compliance under our building code. We have not received hardly any communication, none from the actual owners. 2 of the interest holders did check in, but nothing further has been done to bring the building into compliance. So that they were given 30 days, which is under 10.0204 subsection 5. They were given that in subsection 4B, I believe. They were given both of that time and they have not complied. So as a city council, your duties are under 10.0205. And once you have received the report from Amanda, who is the building inspector, we can move forward with setting a hearing before the council. I would recommend giving them 30-day notice so that they know when the hearing is going to be and they have time to prepare themselves to show up. At that time, we'll go through basically the inspection and reasons why it should be deemed vacated, abandoned, or either vacated, repaired, or to be demolished. That will be up to the council at that time to make that determination based on the findings.
so if we set the hearing for next council meeting is on the 13th, that would give them 30 days.
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Yep, that should. That should give them 30 days from if we could turn around and get it mailed out. That my question is, I don't know how long a hearing would take, just depending on if they show up or not. That's part of it. So that's something to consider, I guess, if you want to have it on or at the beginning of the council meeting, just something to take into consideration.
You're okay with that?
I mean, there's
We all
not a
have
whole
to-
bunch to talk about.
No, we all have to be here anyway, so.
Exactly. That said, and I will say Amanda has posted the building. It is the notice that it needs to be vacated, and what it's been deemed as has been sitting on the property since September. So she has complied with her portion, and now it's on the council.
So we'll have to publish the hearing and stuff.
Yeah, I believe so. I can give you a little.
Yeah. I'm sorry, this is very new to both Kendra and I,
Yep.
so
I want to make sure we get everything right.
I do too, absolutely.
Yep.
And I apologize, I didn't know how much I could go into detail. That's why I was kind of very like 35,000 foot. Because I don't want to say anything that would be inappropriate for the property owners.
So if everybody thinks that's okay, we should probably have a motion to set a public hearing on
Yes,
this
please.
for next regular meeting.
December 14th. It'd be December 14th.
Oh,
Thank you, Owen.
13th would be P and Z.
oh, that's what got me mixed up. Okay, 14th, yeah.
So do we want to do this right at 7 PM?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm sorry, could you also do a motion to accept Amanda's report as well? Thank you. That's okay. Thank you.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Hellman. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Motion carried.
And just to let you guys know, we do have other properties in the works. We're just in different
Yep.
stages
Chipping along.
to do.
Yep.
So I think we have
As long as we do it
Three-
legally, we're good.
3 other
Okay.
ones,
Okay.
correct? So, okay.
Anything else for Amanda? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Steve, I think I've seen him there, the EDC.
I do not know which one you might have in front of you, so you know, we have to go through these one at a time.
Thrivent? Thrivent? Start
Just
with
pick
that
one. We got them all.
Well, we start with choices there. I have 2 of them that are somewhat similar. 3 of them, the money's already been expended out of the fund, but they are readjusting their terms on there is what our recommendation is.
Oh, okay. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions there, but what we moved to do is just increase the forgiveness on the one on Joyce's slightly and also extend the terms for 2 years, which brings it kind of in line for what we just did last month for the new takeaway cafe there. We had a little discussion on trying to keep them somewhat equal, being they're all in the food services business there. So that was our motion on Joyce's there. You do see some financials there. You can probably see they have about a 25% reduction in gross volume from 2019. So, you know, that between COVID and less volume and making some adjustments there, we moved to change their terms a little bit and extend the terms out 2 years, which is, like I said, brings it in line with what we're doing for Rachel on Takeaway Cafe there. So
So your recommendation is to forgive a total of 10
correct,
and then 15 in the next 2 years?
correct.
Okay.
And that would be 2 equal payments, so.
Okay,
And it was 6250, I believe, is what was
Yep.
originally given, but then there's also the extension of the terms on there, so.
okay. Any comments, questions?
I guess I have one question. Would I need to do do a new promissory note for them to sign?
I think that's what we need to do, and I know you wanted to simplify this process, but this is kind of cleaning up old business here, so.
Okay. Okay,
I believe we kind of looked at that. It seemed to me like it was, I don't have that in front of me. It seems like it was from April of.
yeah, this would be basically 2.5 years or so.
Yeah, I would have to look at that, but I mean, we did look at it. That was what it would bring it up to, so.
Okay, anything else?
So the total repayment on that, Steve, would not be that
15,000.
15,000.
So I guess I have one more question then. So if we're gonna do to April 2024, so their first payment they'd have to make would be in April of 2022 or 2023? Sorry, I just want clarification for when I do the promissory note.
Yep.
So like, are we giving them more or less another year and a half, give or take, to make their first payment?
Yeah, well, what it shows on what you had printed out there was 4/14 of 20 was the original transaction on that. So, we're looking at giving them 4 years, so
Okay.
that would be the final payment, I guess, is what it would be. Does that make sense?
So then you want me to break it down in equal payments, so they have to make a payment each year?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That makes it,
Yep.
So 1 in 22, 1 in 23.
So it's gonna be three years worth of payments.
Yes.
Okay,
that's where I was confused, the 2 years and,
okay, the 2 years is what messed us up, yeah. Any other questions or comments? What are the wishes of the council?
I'd move to accept that recommendation. I appreciate you guys going back to the drawing board.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Taylor, is there a second? Second by Mr. Minton. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Nay.
David, Chad.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The second recommendation is on the rustic bean, and it's pretty much follows the same thought process as what we suggested here, except they started right during COVID. They are not eligible for any PPP assistance at all. And they do have a mortgage running on them, so they are incurring some interest. So the terms are the same on the extension, but we also moved to on the extension and the increased amount of the forgiveness of the loan, for business continuation. But we also moved to buy down the interest on $5,000, just to try to even that, being they did not and could not receive any assistance.
So they would make 3
They
payments
would make-
totaling 10,000.
Correct.
Okay,
There again, that was just trying to make things equitable on the 3 businesses there. So that's where we went on that.
okay. Any other questions?
I do. Sorry. I'm assuming another revised promissory note. And question now on the 5,000 for the interest buy down, who is the bank it's getting paid to?
I believe it's at Town and Country Credit Union.
Okay, I can get a hold of Carol
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
I just-
we have that.
and is that something I'm gonna do right away as well? On the interest buy down, or is that something I should wait till next year to do, or?
I believe our process on that is that we thought the interest buy down should occur.
This
now.
year?
Yes.
Okay, so,
I have a question now because it's in there. It says they can pay, if you're gonna do an interest buy down to the bank, should be 15 since it's 25 and 10 off. Just the remaining payments, because that would make sense if they're gonna pay an additional 5 to the bank. They would actually have 15 left remaining, just like Joyce's. Would that be correct? Because the 5 is going to the bank in addition. So you guys have 10 remaining on here, but it really should be 15 remaining, you're giving 5 to the bank.
Yeah, you're correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So we make sure that those 3 payments are 15,000 and then 5,000 goes to the bank for the interest.
Yeah,
So it'd be the same,
Yeah,
but
you can't get paid twice.
because you can't deduct 5 off that
Correct,
and
yep.
5 to the bank.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Sorry, I get it straight.
Okay.
15,000.
Did it retain any of the wording as far as maintaining business, like for 5 years, like the other ones that's in there?
Yeah, and that's kind of the same situation that it was on Rachel, and it's kind of what did. And the other one that I'll bring up here now is the same issue of,
Okay.
We don't want to expend the money right away and then have somebody walk away, so, you're gonna probably see that stipulation on just about everything going forward.
Move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
second by Mr. Taylor. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Jake?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
I,
David?
Aye.
Chad?
Motion carried.
The last one that I have, and just, I guess while we're on that subject, the last one, but we do have 2 more that we're working on that are pending that we would like to bring before the council before the end of the year there. So I guess you'll see me next month. So, excuse me. Okay, the last one is on Kyle Hansen. He purchased the building that he's in, and that's a separate issue. But what we're looking at is interest buy down on the loan that he's doing for rehabbing that building, expanding the rental space, putting in a community room for people to use, and expanding his office to better accommodate 2 agents. We moved to grant, I guess is the best term there, for an interest buy down on half of the interest. Part of the reasoning there is that, his business industry does not generate sales tax, so that would not be coming back to us there. And we just felt that any improvement we could do on Main Street that expands some of the offerings that are available, cleans up the building, the storefronts and improvements that also deserves a hand. So we moved to grant half of the interest buy down that's showing on that paperwork there.
Move to approve.
By Chad, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ty. I guess one thing, would that qualify for Renaissance?
He applied and was approved. He finished his project.
Okay,
He's already done.
okay, so it's covered.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Jake?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
I,
David?
Aye.
Chad?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
We'll see you again.
Yes, thanks, Steve. Sorry.
Okay. The Visitors Fund, I'm not sure if there's anybody here, but there's 2 of them. The first one was from the commercial club for the holiday vendor, and that one was approved for the full amount. The second one was the Ag Improvement banquet that they just had the other day. And that one was recommended approval for the full amount.
I would motion to approve both applications full amount.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Zach. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
I have to abstain.
Linda,
I,
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Motion carried. Okay, let's move on to the Bros Engineering updates.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. So I got a short, sweet agenda for you guys this week. The first thing I wanted to discuss a little bit was the shared path on ND 8. The environmental document has been submitted and approved. The current schedule is the plan's complete middle of December with the bid opening on the DOT's letting in February, the 11th. The estimated city cost of the total project is around 220,000. So that's just a quick update on that. I believe Elena had sent Lynn an email about that. She was under the impression that the portion that was outside of the state right away hadn't been discussed, so she sent you an email inform you of the cost, and I kind of explained to her that, yeah, they knew about that stuff, so. I just didn't know if you had any response or questions to her email. Okay, good.
Okay.
And then up next, something that I have discussed previously was the water modeling. We discussed that some of the water modeling that we did for other projects showed that there was some poor fire flow in some of the areas of town and pressure. So I have a task order there attached for $17,000 to do some water modeling with the old tower removed. If it has to go offline, and see what the pressures and the fire flows around town look like. And I know Chad, you had asked for kind of a blown up view of that stuff. So right here was the loop that we were discussing, that I was discussing last council meeting, would be looping this line right here. And this Trailsman Court right here is the area that had the poor, insufficient fire flow from the hydrants. And so that was one of the things that we noticed right away when we did the water modeling was that area. And some of the other things that we clearly see is if that old water tower went offline, there's going to be some pressure issues in that north part of town. And that's why we kind of wanted to get a better handle of planning to make sure that we don't have issues with that. So that's all I had, I guess. So I'll just ask the council to make a motion to approve Bros to move forward with doing the water modeling and preparing a report for you guys.
So with that water modeling, would you figure out, we talked about not using the underground, go every other day or whatever, and fill the water tower out of RT pressure.
Yeah,
And we figured we could save some money and some wear and tear on those pumps in the underground.
yeah.
Because right now, all the water comes into the underground and then it's pumped up to the towers. And it sounds like the RT water pressure would fill the towers. So we talked about what we would save on electricity and those pumps we just put in there with a bunch of dollars, running them alternately.
Yeah, those pumps, each pump runs about 1.3 hours.
Mhm. If you could figure out what electricity we'd save, I think we're gonna do it when's the cleaning, next spring, Kurt? So I guess we'll be shutting that underground down then for the cleaning, but maybe we don't need it at all, but we've got pretty new pumps in there that we spent a lot of money on. And it's 500,000 gallons of storage, so it's definitely worth keeping. But
Have you tried to fill towers off the static pressure from R&D?
What was that?
Have you tried to fill towers off the static pressure from R&D?
Not since I've been here, no. That's what we're working on now, so.
But that would be part of this modeling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That'd be good to know.
Well, if you can fill it off the static pressure off that line, there's no reason to pump it at all. Just have it for emergency use.
Yeah, the only thing, it would get stale in there if you didn't,
Right, but I mean, you can cycle it.
maybe you run it 1 day a week or,
Yeah. This wouldn't have to be a daily grind.
okay, so that would be part of it.
Yes.
That'd be a study, okay.
Move to approve the task order.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Minton. Any further discussion? Call the roll?
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Abstain?
Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Chad?
All right.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Anybody got any questions for Donovan, I guess? Not, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, gaming permits. Oh, wait, excuse me, resolutions. Lynn, you want to explain this? You already did once.
Okay, so I received these yesterday from our bond council. And since this would be for our capital improvement project. So this would be the loans that were approved for the clean water and the drinking water to cover the water and the wastewater. As I was discussing earlier with Ty, so this is just kind of a formality. Obviously, we're not going to get any of these funds. Once the project starts, we can either do individual draw requests, like as we make payments to the contractor, or we can do just one lump sum for a draw request at the end of the project. And nothing says that we have to use that we have to get the entire amount as specified in these resolutions, but this is kind of based off what we were approved for the loans. So like I said, it's just something we kind of have to do before the project starts, because we were approved for the loans.
Okay,
So there would be there's 4 resolutions. The first one being for 991,500, and this would be for wastewater treatment revenue bond series 2021C.
I would move to approve that resolution.
can we do them all together?
Keep them separate, I'm sorry.
Yep,
Okay.
we're gonna have to do them separately.
Okay, okay,
Jake.
we've got a motion by Mr. Hellman to approve the resolution for $991,500. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Zach. Any discussion? Call the roll?
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad, sorry.
All right.
She call you Tex?
I kind of like
That
joke.
sounded right.
Okay.
That's into a lot of things.
Motion carried.
Okay, so the second one would be 330,500. This is also wastewater. This would be series 2021D.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Hellman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Zach. Hearing no discussion, call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Third one would be 563,250. This is water treatment. This would be series 2021E.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Zach.
Was,
No discussion, call the roll.
was that Jake that made
Yes.
them?
Jacob and Zach. Yep.
Okay. Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And the fourth one for 1,689,750. This is also water, and this would be series 2021F.
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Minton, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hellman. Hearing no discussion, call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we're good on them?
We're good,
Okay.
except for all the paperwork we got to sign afterwards.
Okay, moving on. Special event liquor licenses.
Gaming permit.
Gaming
Gaming
permits.
permits.
Oh, gaming permits. We've got one here for the 1400s for a poker tournament. 14th of this month.
Move to approve.
Hold
Wait,
on,
we got
there's
one
another
more.
one.
There's a turkey
For
bingo
the
too.
turkey bingo for the Catholic Church. So who made a motion? Oh, we got the third special event. The
There's two gaming permits.
You're gonna do the gaming first.
Yeah, okay, we better just do them.
Move to approve both gaming permits.
Okay,
Second.
second by Ty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The last special permit is for the leader for the CS Welding Holiday Party, December 4th at the Fair Building.
Move to approve.
Hold on, there's
Jump there.
there's another one.
There's another one.
It's for the 5 spot, the 5 spot, and it's for the Delta Waterfowl Banquet on December 11th, and that's at the South Complex.
Okay.
Move to approve both special events.
Okay, you want to second it then?
I'll
Ty?
second it.
Okay, second by Ty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on, the police report,
I'm waiting for my friend to come.
okay?
So he's here, so he should be in shortly. Officer Jenkins was cleared today, so he'll be back to work tomorrow. The vehicle, when I called them again, as far as for the K-9, they said that it hadn't come in yet, that the dealership had ordered it, so before the end of the year, we would have it, so. And then they'll get it in right away after that with all the equipment, so.
So, while you're talking on, have you had any other applications for your open spot?
Yep, I had one that be coming up on the 17th, so,
Of November?
yep. So then we'll go from there with him, so.
Okay. Uh-oh,
Dusty,
check this guy over here, Dusty.
no treats tonight, so.
Here he is.
Suppose we could set up something and have him do a search, but
How does he like Stanley?
He likes it. I put it in my sock. He won't bite it, right? What's that?
No.
I said if you put it in my sock. He won't.
Dusty with a Y.
It is why?
Yeah.
Yep.
that's why. His collar had an eye on it, but all his paperwork had a Y, so I just switched it to the Y, so everything's the same across the board. He just turned 2 on October 23rd. He's originally from Hungary. All of his commands are, it's a mix between Dutch and English. So he's kind of got figured it both out. He can track. I had another dog that I looked at, but with him, his mentality was something that I really was looking forward to. He's a sweet dog. You can take him into the schools, around people, and not have an issue with it. So I figured that would be a good fit for what we wanted to do here.
She had a treat when she came up and did some pictures and stuff, so. But I've,
So he had the rescue training also then,
well, he has the tracking.
or tracking, whatever you
Yep.
want to call it, yep.
We just did some tracking tonight with John, so constantly training and constantly keeping up on it.
So are you staggering his shifts then, or
It'll be changed, so.
so that they don't know while he's on from
Yep.
certain hours?
And, talk to the school a little bit, so we'll visit with them one day, go up with Demetrius and visit with them and go from there.
Okay,
No, it's been a long time coming. This is a very happy moment for me to, see the officer and the dog here. This is fantastic. We should be happy and proud of this.
and they think by the end of the year, the vehicle,
The vehicle should be in this month, they said. If not, it would be in December, and then they would get it out here as soon as they got everything put in it, so.
Okay.
Because I was originally told, though, there was one vehicle that we could get, and then, so I'm not sure if the dealership was the one that had one spot that they could order a vehicle, and there's supposedly 11 coming into that dealership, so.
okay,
So for now, we're using a kennel and in his patrol car, so it still all works for now, so,
Okay.
and it's cold, so we don't have to worry about him getting overheated, so.
Chris let me get the tree last week.
Chris, I got a question.
Okay,
The vest that Levi got, is that something that we need to apply for, or is that just something that comes later?
So he's of the right age now to where they had an age requirement for it. So all I gotta do is get online and fill out the application, submit it, and they'll put us on the list. So when it becomes available, we'll be on the list.
You need help with that, holler.
And their only requirements is they just want a picture of me and the dog off duty and then me and the dog on duty. That's their only requirements for that.
usually it's other people that purchase the vest
Yep.
for the animal, so. From there, then, like I say, I know it took a while for the sheriff's department to get theirs, and because the person had called, hey, where's my pictures? And, well, we just got the vest, so. So that's all we have, unless you have something.
I'm just excited. This is one of the things that I love to do. So now I'm back in because I don't see myself doing anything else. So I'm really happy.
Good.
And he's a really good dog.
Or I guess, his 6-month probation is up. And the police committee at the meeting, voted for a salary increase of $3,000, so after his probation now, which would be after the 15th, he is 6 months, so if the council would be so gracious to approve that. So,
Move to approve.
okay.
All right, what did you say?
3,000,
To his annual salary?
yep.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Dave. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Jake?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Chad?
Motion carried. Chris, are you done?
Thank you,
Oh.
officers.
That would be everything for the police.
Okay,
I do have one question since it's related to the canine. So obviously, like, he's gotten food and we had to get a water dish. And so I guess I'm just inquiring, should we create a separate line item within the police department for dog food and supplies, just to kind of keep track of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we should have a line item for all expenses for
Yep.
that officer.
For the vet and for any
Yeah.
boarding and whatever that's required, so.
so we know what it's actually costing us.
Anything that the canine requires that we pay for it,
Yep.
which is everything, have its own line item so that we can have that year end for budgeting.
Okay, obviously, his training and stuff, we hadn't created it yet then, and that's kind of why I thought if we're gonna continue to have expenses, that I should probably ask if you wanted me to, so. But yeah, so I can create one, and going forward, then we'll just make sure it's taken out of that line item then.
Can we set them up with a retirement fund too?
With the what?
Retirement fund.
401K.
Need to keep him.
Chris, I got a couple more things before you leave or, some things been going on the last month or two that I get questioned about as far as car thefts and people propositioning girls and stuff. Can you comment on them? What's going on, what you're doing about it?
Well, the one, vehicle that was taken, we had where the owner's phone was still in the vehicle and we tracked it and that, person was arrested out in the county where we found them. And so that's being handled out in the county, the money that was taken out or from inside the vehicle and the vehicle, the other one's still going, ongoing investigation, and the other one finishing up on the one with the solicitation for, with that, so
Okay.
that one should be wrapped up here.
And then I guess the other thing, I think I talked to you, Dave, about our impound fee on vehicles is $15 a day. And a lot of places charge way more than that,
And
50 to 75. And I think we need to make it a little more substantial.
well, that was another thing the police committee, voted to
Yeah.
go with the 75, so I don't know if we,
Okay, so we need a motion on that.
I can make a motion.
I didn't want you to forget that.
No, we motioned in our police committee meeting to move it to 75 a day.
Okay.
And I would motion that we do that.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chad. Any further discussion? I guess the other thing would be when you impound a vehicle, the paperwork, so that we know the day it gets impounded, does it go on the Zerker report? So that we know when it starts and when it ends.
yep, because we have the impound record. I guess I forgot to send that to her, but I did send it with the date and that it was towed and everything with the tow bill, so.
So I mean, is there a daily report, or when your officer has an incident, do you get a report the next morning on it? And do you follow up with them and say, we got to get this done?
Well, basically, I guess if we impound the vehicle, usually it's where I get contacted, hey, I've got this going on, and about towing the vehicle, so then we get the towing company and get the bill. So there is a setup in the Zerker for that, for towing and everything now, so that can all be
put in there with the tow bill and everything, and I'll double check, but I think it keeps track of the days and everything that the vehicle is in there automatically, so.
Because, until the paperwork's done, nothing really happens.
Yeah.
And does that go for their other situations too, like domestic violence? I had a report that it took 20-some days for one of your officers to file his report.
Well, basically, the report is in there and the state's attorney can look at it at any time, so.
Okay.
And
So do you
After
look
it
at
was
them every
approved.
morning and make sure that they're getting them done, I guess?
it was in there and I guess I approved it with the unsigned affidavit at that time, and then after we were contacted by the state's attorney's office, and we got them signed affidavits.
Okay,
So what is your, like, time frame in your mind that you want that, let's say that happens tonight, when is, in your mind, what's that time frame to get that to the DA so that they can act on it immediately? Let's use the proposition case that is going on right now. From the time you're notified to when you fill out the forms for the state's attorney to continue his job, is that something that you want done in 24 hours, 48 hours?
It just varies with, depending on what type of investigation is and how long it takes and whether you have, usually in some of these, you start out with an unknown person and then you go through the investigation, and then once you come up with names, dates of birth, where they're from, then you can complete it from there, so.
So is there,
Usually, some of it, like a domestic and stuff, okay, if it happened tonight, depending on what time of night, then it could be, like the officer that's working tonight, then he'd be off for 2 days, so it could be where the weekend that he would finish up the report. But originally on that, when they're arrested, an affidavit is done, the citations are done, and then in the domestic violence situations, they have to wait to see a judge, or a simple assault, any thing like that. They see a judge first, so then that's where it goes. So, with any, anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, it could be before some paperworks are done on certain things that are all defined. So.
okay. Any other comments, questions?
I have a question, I guess, regarding the car theft that went on. Have any of the individuals gone before a judge or
Juvenile court's a complete,
juveniles court?
juvenile court, like I say, that's still going on with finishing up, visiting with everybody and getting that sent to juvenile court. And then we know nothing from there. Once it's sent in, juvenile court does their thing, so.
Because one individual involved kind of relayed to me, I wasn't asking him, he was just blurting out that my mom told me I'm just an accessory, I don't have to go to juvenile court, and I only have to do community service. So I was like, okay, when did this all get decided, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what he was telling me, and I was like, okay.
Like I say, juvenile court's a totally different situation. Once the paperwork's sent in, juvenile court, we never hear from them again. We might hear from kids saying that, oh, George has to be in by 11 o'clock because he has a curfew. Juvenile court leaves that up to the family. As far as whether there's community service or not, that's left up to juvenile court. They don't contact us.
If it's in this community,
Probably never know because it's restricted. They don't
Oh, I
have to.
suppose,
They
yeah,
don't have to.
because they're underage, so,
Yeah, they
Okay,
can just
got it.
recommend them instead of doing court sessions as well.
gotcha.
So then the last thing, I guess, is that vehicle we sold at the sale for $20,000. We were told we have to pay the guy that money. It's not ours,
The proceeds aren't.
right?
Yep.
And that's, if you got every day documented, it's in storage, you can subtract that, your towing fees, whatever, your paperwork, whatever from it. But, so we will be paying that back. So we learned something on that one. Anything else for Chris?
I had something just for the committee. What is the committee's wish as far as getting contacted from, if I get somebody contacting me in public, how does the committee wish to get that information? Is there a preferred means of communication? Email, a phone call?
So I think what he's getting at is if somebody catches him on the street, does he call Dave or Linda or Jacob or me, or does he call Chris directly? Probably should go, Lynn?
I have a comment. If somebody in the community has a complaint, they should come in and physically fill out a formal complaint form, and it'll be handed to the appropriate committee to deal with. It shouldn't be discussed on the street. It should be a formal complaint.
I agree.
Or
I get hammered a lot. So I always check with Chris. If there's something going on that's dealing with that, I will not go back to the person that was jumping on me about it and tell them what's going on, because they're gonna talk to the person that jumped them. Then it's gonna go from there to there to there. And pretty soon we got stuff that's knotted up that is way out of control.
No, absolutely. There's things that committee is privy to that I shouldn't be and I don't want to be. But as far as like Joe Blow contacts me and says, hey, I have this issue. It's what direction do I send him? Do I send him to Dave? Do I send him committee? Send him to Lynn? You
Follow
know,
Lynn's suggestions.
Well, I guess basically, usually what happens in any place else I've been, if somebody complained about something, how are we supposed to do anything if somebody comes and complains to you? I guess usually what's done is it would be brought to the police department, as far as I know. Somebody that goes to a county commissioner, I'm sure tells them to contact Corey or Dwayne up there. It's not where, if it's something.
We don't email between, because that constitutes open record violation between them, so if it goes back in there, if you send it out, you can't respond to emails, so you're writing the open records.
I think, just, if we're talking about it, this one's gonna sting a little bit, but it's gotta be said too. The comment, the mentality on the street right now is, why would I fill that form out? Because nothing's gonna happen anyway. I don't know how many times that's been said to me. Why would I bother going to fill that out? Because we're not feeling like we're getting any attention on it anyway. I know that has a little bit of burn to it, but that is the mentality out there right now.
Yeah, they're not gonna fill out a form.
No, they're not. So I think we gotta, us as a council, you guys as a committee, you as the chief of police, I think we need to do, one, a better job at educating our people that we need to fill that report out officially, sign it. Two, be visible, be acting on this stuff in a more timely manner in some cases, and getting this stuff taken care of so that the community knows that we're working on it. And then the problems go away. That perception that is such a pain in the butt to overcome, that's not there anymore. But right now, with some of the things that has been going on, it was 30 days approximately, it was just buzzing in town with the one incident. And nothing was known, I'm not saying that you weren't doing anything, but what I'm saying is that it's small enough town, people talk, they know as soon as Wade has his papers to do what he needs to do. And those are the things that we need to clean up. We gotta start working in a more timely, more efficient manner on some of this stuff, so that the people of the city have that trust and faith in us as a council, in you as the chief of police, the three of you that are on the police committee.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, we need a motion to approve the police report.
I have one other thing. I don't think
Okay.
we ever voted on the $75 increase. We motioned in second, but we never voted.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he's right.
okay.
Just
call
so
the
we don't
roll.
have to do it again next month.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David, Chad.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks, Jake.
Okay, so who approved
Well,
this?
I was
He's
trying
first,
to.
I'll second.
It was them two over there. Elaine, those two over there.
Chad and then.
Motion and a second between Dave and
All in favor, say aye.
I. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we get to the tough one.
Mr. Mayor, Council, you see on my agenda, I got two items on there. One is a quote from Rudolph Electric for a new heater and a new water tower. It's a wall mount heater with a thermostat on it. The total on that is $1,417.82. I would call it a must because the heater I got here now is a floor heater and it never shuts off this time of the year.
I would motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Chad. Call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Now you see on there, on the second item is inspection report for the landfill. You can see the first one on there, if you, I got the comments highlighted on there. The first one's for the transfer station. Apparently they had a little issue the last time where there was a little dirty down where the compactor that pushes it into the container. They didn't care for that because it was wet, it was stinky under there, so. The guys did a pretty good job taking care of that this year. And you'll see the last one on there for the landfill with the comments. A lot of people aren't gonna be too happy about not being able to bring pallets out to the landfill anymore, but it's gonna be a must. They continue bringing them out and you want us to burn them, and then you won't give us a burn permit, then we might as well shut the landfill. So.
Is it just because it's treated wood? What's in the pallet that's eliminating?
Well,
Any
what,
different
what
than-
I was told from the inspector that you can recycle it.
Well, I'm curious, is there any value to those? I remember in Fargo, there was a company, like somewhere downtown that just, that's all they did was get pallets. Like, is there a value to where somebody could just accumulate them? Is it worth, is there a scenario like what we have with Chantley where they just come and haul it out eventually? That's, I'm just curious. I see there's a pallet recycling place in Williston, whether or not there's enough value there. I mean, I don't know. If you have a fresh pallet that's still good, can you turn around and sell it to a company for $3? Is there somebody that does that?
Well, I know different places do.
There's this place called Pallet Green Recycling, unless that's, yeah. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, like, to me, like if I was a business and I had to pay for new pallets, you figure I'd buy a used one for $1,
Mhm.
I don't.
About how many do we get? Hundreds?
Well, it's quite a bit, yeah.
I can probably comment on this because we're probably one of the guiltiest ones in this.
Yes. I didn't
We
wanna
were
say-
told we couldn't, so we were stacking them up out behind. And then Kurt said, well, I think we can take them now. So we started and then we got caught, so now we can again. But we probably get, and half of our pallets are returnable
Mhm.
and we ship them back 3-4 times a year. But probably 2-3 semi-loads a year of unreturnable pallets. And the wood is so green that you can't really pull the nails. I mean, it's not carpentry wood.
No, and yeah, and I was
It is
just
for
curious, I
some.
mean, if
I pull them
maybe,
apart.
maybe research if there is an option. I mean, there might be somebody, like I said, there was a company in Fargo that I think took them and resold them, you know, probably wasn't high profit margin, but when you're
I
getting
can
something for
check
free.
into it. We'll have all winter to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's something, I mean,
I
So
just don't want it to turn into be a cost to us to.
Chamley will take them in Williston and chip them up. But the trucking to get them there is like $600 a load.
like, if there's a,
So,
every quarter,
So-
some person haul them out versus.
and we've got a few gals, like your wife has gotten a few of the older looking ones and they make stuff out of them, but there ain't enough demand.
No, no. But
So,
I'd recommend if they got a pallet, take it home, beat it up, bring it back. Tear it apart. So,
okay.
So what if it's broke up and then thrown in there?
but so, yeah, have them break it, or I'll tell them, break it up, then you can bring it back.
Yeah.
So, throw it in your wood pile, or
None
what's your,
of-
what's,
none of it's wood.
then it's wood.
So we gotta drive over them and then throw them in.
So, it's, I know, I
Okay.
feel the same way.
Anything else, Kurt?
Nope, that's it. I got, but I do have a question on those no parking signs. Do you want it from Alexis all the way down to Fourth Street Southwest? The whole frontage road?
Well, it seems like over by the motels is where the biggest problem is.
Because if you do it over by Napa, I think you're gonna have some people
Yeah.
hollering at us over there.
And that isn't the problem. It's over by the motels where they're.
You got parked trucks sitting in the street with no lights on.
So we'll go from Alexis to Fourth Street by the China buffet.
Yeah.
We'll stop
Start with that and see what
There's
happens.
no parking sign missing directly to the east of the motel over there.
What did you
Black
do
Gold.
with it?
Oh, I mean, it used to be one there and there isn't anymore.
Okay. We'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have.
We have a motion to approve the report.
So
Second by Zach. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Attorney updates.
I really don't have much because I think everything else that I had to bring up was addressed in Amanda's report and in the P&Z report. I did just get an update tonight from BNSF right before council that I will be getting contacted by who they've contracted with to inspect the elevator. So hopefully I'll have a date once that person contacts me as to that part. But other than that, I don't think I have any other updates.
Okay. Any questions for legal?
Thank you for what you're doing.
Does she need to start looking at putting together that ordinance for an animal shelter or is,
What?
what do you
Yeah.
think?
I mean, I can give you guys a draft based on kind of what a lot of the ordinances that I've provided hit a lot of similar topics, I guess, with health and numbers. And we already have numbers of animals, but we really need definitions in there. So I can certainly draft something up and we can take a look at it and kind of hash out what we like and don't like.
And maybe,
I know it's a huge movement. That was the outfit that I had to go dig the cat out of the well for. So. they're
and
not-
maybe
it's
the,
not gonna go away.
what Todd said about being in an industrial area would,
That's a lot. I mean,
that would make it way simpler.
That's why we decided to put it down there, was just because ease of operation almost. They're gonna make a little bit of noise. They're gonna make a little bit of noise. They're gonna, do all those things and that gives kind of the owners a little bit more free reins and it doesn't, I think, disturb as many people. I think everybody would like to see something being done with an animal shelter, but they don't want it in their backyard.
it's a health, it's a public, sorry, it's a public health issue, I think, too, if we just don't have something addressing it
Yeah.
clearly in
And
our.
maybe a
Because I think then she should start putting something.
a fenced backyard, for the.
Sure.
So you have something for the next meeting?
Yeah, I can get you a draft by the next.
Okay. And maybe we can look at a first reading next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, good idea. Nothing else for Kendra? Okay, we'll move on to Jacob, you want to start?
I don't have anything.
Wow, okay. Zach? Ty?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, Linda?
Well, I guess this probably goes along with what Ty had brought up earlier, but this is regarding equipment being used by employees. Do they come fill out? Because he's like, you got employees using the public works equipment to like landscape or whatever, and he says, well, I wanna use that equipment too. I paid for it. So I don't know if they need to fill out a complaint form on that, or I guess probably just not allow the employees to use the city equipment, I guess. I don't know what to,
I think it's a pretty slippery slope to be on with taxpayer-based equipment.
And I guess I've been aware of when they have used them.
I mean, so have
And,
I, and
uh,
I've never had an issue.
And I've always said it's one of the few benefits that, you probably get with that job that you don't, and I'm guilty of doing it where I work, payloaders, skid steers.
Taxpayer doesn't buy yours, that
Yep.
gooseneck.
Yeah.
And I mean, me personally, to be perfectly clear, I don't care, but
I don't
I
either.
know that.
We got more eyes in
Who pays
town.
it? Pays for the tire repair, who pays for the hydraulic pump that goes out when it quits, when it's at. Ground. It's gonna come here, we're gonna pay for it, and there's gonna be a citizen in the tax base that's not gonna be happy.
I guess if somebody says something, tell them to fill out a complaint. We'll start with that and see how many we get.
Well, like I said,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
never bothered me, them
Yeah.
guys using it.
It's I'm sure it's
Whatever. But
people talk.
this is really the first time I've ever had anybody say anything to
Yeah.
me, so.
Well, it was pretty visible, cause I did have two people call and ask me about it too, saying,
Oh.
so you guys doing home construction now too for the
Yeah.
city or what?
That's kind of what I got.
So what do you want me to tell the guys that asked to borrow a piece of equipment? Tell them, nope, they can't do it anymore, or do you want them to come talk to you guys?
What's in your employee handbook, I guess, too? That's a good question. If we
I
have
don't
something
think
in
there's
there.
anything.
It is in there, Kendra?
I'd have to look at the copy of it. I don't have probably the newest one.
What did you say, John?
If you have the same personal handbook as the county, which I think you do, there is a no personal use of property, because what would you guys do if somebody got hurt? You got a workers' comp issue, number one. You got a liability issue. I mean, it's not just the use, we don't allow it at the county because of those reasons, because if someone got hurt on it, or had backed over a kid, or, now you guys are, you're in it, I'm not saying you're liable, but now you have a liability issue.
My personal.
That's my concern. No, that's my concern too, because your scope of your liability on it and what you're insuring and who you're insuring it. Worst case scenario could be very, very bad. And that's why, and I can check in with the Lynn to get the employee handbook, an updated version to make sure. But I would just advise against it generally.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. I'll let them know.
That's my feeling too.
Yeah, it should be in the handbook then.
And if it's not, maybe that's an amendment. we need to Look at making.
Linda, anything else?
No, that was it.
Invest your $8 million.
David?
I'm good.
You're good? Chad?
I'm good.
Okay, and I really don't have anything. I think I've said enough. Oh, the judge's report will be making its way around. Questions on the bills? We'll jump to that first.
Where's the IDOC market fee? Very first, What's that?
It's IDOC, correct?
Yeah, what is it?
I didn't even hear what
What's
he
the
asked.
IDOC market fee?
It's
What
like
is-
recorded documents. It's a database that.
Oh,
Monroe-
okay.
Like I can
Oh.
actually go onto this website and I can research documents to see if there's
Okay.
a recorded document. So yes, obviously to have the subscription, we have to pay a monthly fee.
I just didn't know what it was. I'm like, okay, well, American Bank Center, like, don't know what that fee is. So it was just dog training, IDOC and all this stuff in one thing. I'm like, dog training and P&Z food and an IDOC fee. I just wasn't sure if it was all related or just,
Nope, just a monthly fee.
okay, thank you.
Good catch, though. I missed that. Any other questions on the bills?
Move to pay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Hearing no other discussion, call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach, Ty.
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Motion carried. I guess I do have one thing. We're still negotiating on the Nelson sewer thing. I've got a picture of it here, but we've got some, maybe have more to report by next meeting. But as far as I know, nobody's living there right now. So it should cut down on the pumping.
Here's a really dumb question, probably because we don't know it, but is there litigation going on with that property? Is that free and clear? I mean, those people,
Yep.
is
They-
there the chance, this is, it's a crazy thought, I know, but why couldn't we talk to them about coming in there and putting some cover back on that line and just making that connection right and covering that line back again?
You're certainly welcome to do it, but you're gonna need an easement long-term.
Yep.
Would be the best solution.
That's one of the things we're looking at is hooking it back up, taking the pipe out of there, maybe insulating it and covering it. But it's somebody else's property now.
Right, but the pipe is already there, correct?
But if you're making changes to it and you're gonna continue to access it and fill it over, and it's not an operational pipe right now, you're gonna need an easement to get on those people's property to modify it and continue to use it and allow us access to and from it. That's just the best protection.
And, you know, I mean, I guess easements, you can get them and at some point in time, they can also be released to if that does get developed to where we can tie it into a different spot, but there's nothing to say that if you get the easement and you use it up until that point, that development comes in and then they tear it all out and they re-engineer it, rebuild it, release the easement for them.
And that's,
Versus $70,000.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
so maybe I'll try and contact Landis Farms and just tell them what's going on and just say, can we get a temporary easement to repair that?
Probably permanent one.
Well,
Yeah,
whatever,
'cause
you
probably get
can
that
advise
flow
me
down.
what to, but we are working on it, I guess.
But I am correct, they can be released to the right Kendra down the road.
Eventually, I mean,
Yeah.
sorry. Eventually it could be if it's not being used or you don't really, but you know, you're gonna have a solution probably at that point too. If it's
Mhm.
being developed, you're gonna have different sewer needs, because there are some easements that are existing in that area that are on the plat, but it's just not where that sewer pipe is.
Okay.
Yeah, how were we just pumping that on a schedule or was somebody monitoring that or?
I think Gus was monitoring it, but now, and he knows they moved
Okay.
out too, so.
Yeah.
um,
But I suppose by the time we forget about it, then somebody will come back out there, move in and we'll have problems.
Yep. Okay, the judge's report made its way around. I'd entertain a motion to approve it. By Ty, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any other business needs to come before this meeting?
Oh, I was at the redistricting
Oh, yeah, we need a full report on that.
and the map is set. It was pretty straightforward. The city of Stanley has been split now at the truck route. so there's North Stanley that goes into the other, the district above it. And then from the truck road to wherever to the south is its own district.
So this is for the county districting,
For the commission.
not the state legislature. So,
This is commissioners.
yep. Okay,
Newtown City split too, essentially really a lot the same way as House Stanley. They have the north and the south.
well, that kind of makes sense.
So the north, Newtown goes into that other district right above it, and the bottom 3/4 of Newtown is its own district, just like Stanley here. So, and the reason for it is the population from one district to the next was outside of that 10% limit. So all districts have to be within 10% of each other for representation. So the only thing that it changes is for the commissioner themselves. So they have to live within that district. The county votes at large. So it doesn't change the voting, doesn't change any of that. It just changes your boundaries for your future commissioners.
So like the north of the truck route, will Jason Rice represent that then? Okay.
Well, right now they would, yeah. Wherever.
Yep. It'll be all part of that whole north part of the county.
So
Okay.
there'll be a public hearing at 6 o'clock, I believe, on November 30th.
Okay.
At the courthouse.
Anything else? I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
By Dave, second.
Second.
Ty, all in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.